Schlemer here, man. Check this out. He is the head guy at Roto Grip, so he knows all and everything about these two brand new pieces from Roto Grip. So I want to ask you, Chris, talk to me a little bit about the clone, man. What's going on with this ball?
So you probably remember back to the UFO series.
Yep.
You know, we mentioned the original ET core. And so it was one of those deals that I wanted to bring that part back because, you know, it had the equalizer technology in it with the cavities built in to emulate balance holes. So the modification we did on that one, though, it's nothing really crazy. We changed the density a little bit. So all we did is the RG came down 1 point, and the differential went up 2 points from the original UFOs. The big thing was the cover stock. You know, it was one of those deals that going through, looking at what we have in the product line across our three brands, and motion-wise, reaction-wise, I'm looking around and going, man, we don't have a solid shiny ball that's really got a big engine in it. You know, we got the new Hustle Rip. You know, the Hustle's been great. You know, but for a solid with some factory shine, then you have to think, okay, well, why don't we put a bigger engine in there? And so we haven't had anything like that since the Eternal Cell, if you guys remember that back in the day.
Yeah, that was good.
That was a solid shiny.
Yeah.
And what's funny about that is the cell part, numbers-wise, are about the same.
Okay.
Because the nucleus part was 251, 252. Well, even though we changed the density in this, it's still 251. You know, the diff's still, you know, that 55 window. But the solid, because of the bulb shape and then the cavities built in, you get that shape continuation, you know. And like, you know, Kyle, you guys talked to Kyle, and even Belmo was asking me earlier, like, alert. I go, well, the alert was hybrid, so it was 2-part pro, 1-part solid, and a different material. This is a new cover shot technology, a derivative off of like the E-Track Plus, chemical enhancements, no nanoparticles added, so it's still a cleaner cover. But the fact that it's solid and shiny, so that was the kind of the goal behind that.
And obviously it comes from the box, from the factory shiny, but you can sand this ball too, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, and this whole thing, because it's 251, you can sand it. It's still not going to read early because, you know, in comparison to like we have in the gems, both of those, you know, that Defiant LRG core, I think that's 247. So building a higher RG part, I wanted to bring a higher RG part back into the HP4 line. Was the goal to help create separation and variety.
Okay. So this one coming out soon. And then what about this one? This Tour Dynam-X. What's going on with that?
Let me tell you about that one. That one. So you guys probably remember the Rubicon series.
Yep.
The Rondure core, which was our first kind of take on. You know, Hank came up with that concept whenever the USB-C did away with the weight hole. They had the 10 split, you know, have a mild asymmetry, because back in the day when you take the example we used was like take a phase 2, put a balance on it, you could actually get the intermediate split to like 008 or 10.
Yep.
So Hank goes, well, I'm just going to build something with 10 in it. So that's really how that Rondure part started. So anyway, we've had this part, you know, we had a successful series with Rubicon, UC2, UC3. You know, when I started talking to Alex, I'm like, you know, I want to get something I want like a tour player's ball. I want it to kind of shape, but I want to get something where we knock the diff out of it. And so the funny, and Alex can tell you, it's one of those deals, like we went through a few rounds of it. He's like, oh, knock the diff down, you know, like 10 or 12 points. Well, it still reacted like a Rubicon. I'm like, no, I need lower. And it finally got to him, I looked at him, I go, how low could we get this? And he goes, you know, a few days, did some work on it. He goes, I can knock it down to 26. I go, perfect, let's go there. And he goes, are you sure? And I'm like, well, the intermediate split stayed. It still stayed 10. So as you'll see, the Rondure Tour core, the same shape, but yeah, it's now 247, 26 differential, and 10 on the split. And so, like, obviously you guys had Kyle throw it. I've had plenty of people, you know, we had the whole gamut of people tested at Storm because everybody thought of us crazy going to that low of a diff. And I'm like, no, there's something to it. And so we had some people, you know, like with the glove, people with low rev rates. Like they can play up the lane, and then they can jump like even like 8 to 10 boards, and they can even hook it a little bit that don't normally hook them. They're like, well, this ball's kind of cool. So then we got, you know, our two-handed guys and our guys with high rev rate in the office doing a test. It zap all over it. It still shapes every time because we, you know, again, as you know, it's one of those deals of we're not wanting to get the massive change of direction. I wanted to kind of stay on line and just shape. And so, you know, it's funny, this morning, we had some kids here first thing, pretty younger kids, big, like, made me feel small. The lowest rev rate had to be probably 575, like just zapping all over it. I said, you all need to throw this Tour Dynam-X, because they were in love with the clone. And I go, throw the Tour Dynam-X. And one kid, he goes, can that bang on? I go, bang all over it. he zapped on it and floated back, and he goes, I'm getting one shot. He goes. So he got a little bit more left, got softer, shaped every time. So then, of course, the guy with the less rev rate was like the 575 guy, and he had a little bit more tricks. He actually goes back, and I said, move right, get the back of it. Did it, ripped the rack, and he goes, can I hook it? You can do whatever you want with it. So he moved in, he hooked it. He goes, yep, I'm getting one of these. And I'm like, all right, sweet. But it's just building, and everybody. I mean, we've had people that are trader. I had one pro shop guy from the West who throws it slow. His ball speed, 14 miles an hour. Just kind of flip it out there, but it just rolls. He goes, I love this ball. It doesn't overreact. I go, that was the idea to get something, because again, like I've said countless times today, lane panels age like we do every day. Every day we get older, so do those lane panels, and they're not being replaced. So there's friction everywhere. And so the versatility, having something that you can shine up if you want, you can even sand it more if you need to. But Kyle threw those couple of shots. He's like, well, I can throw that on the front, right? Because that was kind of another thing. We don't build bowling balls for pros because they can do all these tricks. But at the same time, I've been around it enough, and I'm like, there's certain motions and shapes that I've dealt with over time that I'm like, I need to see this certain thing. And sometimes it just takes longer to get there than others, as you know. Right. So, but anyway, yeah, the guys are now they've got to see it. They're like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a play. But again, we don't build for them. We build it for everybody at home who, you bowl, once or twice, or you bowl on weekends or whatever. We want to build that variety and have those options.
So it looks like two good pieces to throw into your arsenal, give you two different shapes, work on a lot of different conditions.
Yep.
Man, sure appreciate you giving us a little insight on those next two bowling balls coming out from Roto.
These come out in August.
Awesome.
Yep.
Thank you.